Alright guys, so in my last video I said I was going to make a dedicated video just for this Powerhouse Racing shift knob install. This is for the Mark IV Supra. This fits on the A340 shifter they have. Comes with everything you need to. I'm setting it down gently because I don't have anything here to keep it from scratching. Comes with a spring, these screws, even the switch for your overdrive, because obviously when you go to this, you'll have the overdrive button. I'm going to try to make this as step-by-step as possible for today's video so you guys can do this. There's two wiring connectors because there's two wires you'll have to cut. Again, I'll show that here today. I'm also going to link a video down below from a gentleman. I'm not sure who he is, but he did a fantastic video on how to remove, actually probably more in depth than I'll even need to go. I'm going to try and do this without, we'll see how this goes, without actually removing the shifter. Everyone says you have to, but I'm trying to see why you have to, and I want to, probably explain that in this video, because everyone says you have to, but I want to know why. I understand that it bolts down to the transmission, but for what we're going to do today, just to replace the shifter, I don't think that's going to be necessary. Mostly because I'm not going to be putting this button in the shifter like the instructions listed down below that Powerhouse Racing shows. The reason I'm not going to do that is on the dash I already have a little black button that I'm going to use. I didn't want to cut into the factory shifter, discontinue, no one makes it. The little blank button, I have like 20 extra of those. If I want to replace that one day or change it, I can. The shifter bezel, I can't. So in my opinion, this is what I'm doing. Now, in their instructions, they tell you to do this, and it's 100% up to you, but I'm not going to do that in today's video. So let's take this over with me here, and then I'll bring the rest of the stuff. You see it has a little set screw area there. And in their pictures, it shows this being like silver and then engraved. I like that it's all black personally with the engraving in it saying Powerhouse Racing. Let's open this up and get my big butt in the car for my Lexus here. But look at the difference here. Let's sit back. Sorry, it's a little dark in here too. But this sitting here, put my hand out of the way. That would look 10 times better than this thing. One, the leather's all worn and shiny. This just sits there, looks a little bit more race car-ish. I like that it's black, simple. Again, I have paddles, so pretty much all I need this for is to put it in gear. Overdrive, I leave off 90% of the time because in manual mode, you don't want overdrive engaged, so not a big deal. That's the button. Beer breath. That's the button I'm going to use. It's a button I got off Amazon. I'll try and find it listed down below. There's other buttons out there that you guys can use, but I like this. It's an on-off switch. Only requires two wires, just like this setup does. Right now it's used for my manual mode because my Haltech didn't originally allow for that to work because it's a momentary switch. Now Haltech allows for momentary switches to work for an on-off switch, a latch switch inside the ECU. So I got that working again, and now I can use this for my overdrive, which is here. Because obviously, so we'll see with this here. See, there's your overdrive. Boom. Won't have that anymore. Nice little smooth shift knob, so you don't have that. So I'm going to put it here just to have it. It actually does work on the dash still too. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. But the first thing we're obviously going to do is pull this panel off. So pull up an e-brake. See if I can do this with one-handed. Oh, there we go. I hate this one here. Come on. Oh my God, it's stuck. Come on. Oh God, I hate this. I always feel I'm going to break this off every time. There we go. Every stinking time I feel like I'm going to snap that off. And then that goes there. This goes here. Boom. Done. Put that back down. Now, here's some plugs that you need to pay attention to. You have a white and blue plug. This blue plug is the one I believe that we're going to be messing with today. Yes, that is, yes, the blue plug here. That's the one that we're going to be messing with here today. Again, we just need to get this off and put the shifter on. So to put their button on, you need to take this all out, take this cover off. You need to remove the whole thing. I personally do not want to do that. That's the last thing I want to do if I don't have to. If I do, again, I'll show that. But let's push this down. That blue plug there is the one I believe we have to cut into for the wiring. So yeah, we'll find out here. Let's get this off. Apparently you need to twist this and pull this down. I need to look into it there again. I'll list the video down below, but it shows pulling this down, twisting it to access two screws that are here. And my understanding is to turn it to the on position so you can put this back into like neutral or something. Allows for more room for this thing to get pulled down. Not sure. We're going to look into it here. Okay, guys. First thing you want to do is key on the car. And the only reason you're doing that is to take it from like park to put it in reverse, neutral, something like that. So you can slide down this collar. Now, you don't need to put a bunch of pressure. I use these plastic tools here and probably could have done it down with my fingernail, to be honest. You're going to take it and it kind of like spins down. So it sits up like this, okay? And then you're going to spin it down. And as you spin it down, you can rotate it. There's a screw here. And there's a screw, if you can see it on camera, on the other side there. You want to remove those two screws. When you remove them, make sure you're holding this because this will try and pop up on you. You don't want to lose anything. You don't want to lose any of the mechanisms inside of here, okay? So be cognitive of that. See if I can put this back up into... See, when you try and do it there, see how tight that becomes? So put it back, put it at least in neutral, and you can see I have room there to access those screws. So that's the first thing you're going to do. And then we're going to pull this off. So I'm going to try and set up the camera so you can see me pulling it off. I also recommend removing the backside screw first, because just in case when you're removing this, anything pops up or goes weird on you, when you pull up on this, you have this one take off. So you're not trying to go back here like this, take off this one last. So take off the backside first, then take off this second, and you should be able to pull up on this. See if this works here. Okay, take that off. See, got that screw off. Now we got to pull off the actual shifter itself here. Okay, take your time doing this. Okay, all right, so you guys can see here, that's what it'll look like. Again, this is the wire right here for the overdrive, just letting you know. Now, when you do this, we're going to pull up a little bit more. So I'm going to put the camera down here just so I don't knock it over because I'm sitting in my way. But I just wanted you guys to be able to see that. All right, we're going to pull up on that now and move it out of the way. Okay, guys, so I did take the center console out. You do not need to remove these screws or anything, and you can see I cut a wire here. So the reason I took the center console out is over here. It's hard to see. See if I can get the light to shine in this. This is where it gets a little difficult. You can see... see if I can get that to shine in there. See that black wire there? This blue wire ran with it, and it has like these little, I don't know what you call them, twisties almost. You can untwist them and undo the blue wire from it because it holds it tight, because that's what you need to actuate the the overdrive on and off. And if you don't, it's really tight, and then you're unable to do it. Now, the reason I did it this way, again, if you look at the Powerhouse racing instructions, you wouldn't need to do this, but this, again, saves you from cutting up this, taking everything else out, too. I have yet, again, to take anything out of the car yet. This goes directly into the connector. This gives you a ton of wire, then, as you can see, that I'm going to mount up here. I could even run it directly off this, or what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a connector here and then run wiring up directly to the sensor itself. I personally think that's the best because I don't want to waste any of this wire, or I could depin it here and run wire directly to it because I have the pins, but most of you do not. Or you can use the little supplied, boom and boom, these little guys here, these little spades that they supply for you. So it's all up to what you want to do, and then use their button they supply you. Again, 100% up to you. This is what I decided to do. So again, didn't need to take anything out besides taking out the center console. You'll undo those two clasps here and here. You'll be able to see them. Again, this blue sheathing will be on it so you can tell exactly what it is. Just pull it from that, and then you will have to cut it. Now, I left a little bit of meat on mine because it goes the whole way up in here. I left some meat on it just in case I want to reinstall it. Now, the one thing you'll notice is when you do cut it, I'll pull the sheathing back here in a second. It's two white wires. Now, I don't think it matters polarity-wise which is which. If it does, we'll just have to flip-flop the pins, but it shouldn't be a problem. Now, from here, I'll have to wire it into this. But next up, let's put the shifter actually on. You'll see it has like this little weird white piece on it here that goes with the factory shifter. You're going to want to spin this off. Whoops, as it falls down inside of there, so I have to try and get that now. You'll spin it off, and you'll see the little rod here. The next thing you're going to do is put the little tiny set screw in there. I just made sure it was snug. You could probably use some blue Loctite. I just don't want to take any chances. If it does start to back out, I will take care of it then, but again, I don't want to mess or screw anything up here. Before you even put your little knob on here, I'll call it, you want to make sure you drop this spring in. So you take this, drop this down in. What this allows for is to give this some springy action, because this is heavier than the factory, so it pops up for you. After you put in that little set screw, it comes with a spring. You want to set that spring on, and then you're going to spin this on. You can see it has a set screw side on the back side of it here too. You want to make sure that's facing. When you spin it on, you want to make sure it faces out this way. I spun it down just so the top of it here is just almost flush, but not completely, because you want it to have spring back, and you don't want it to bottom out. You don't want it to have too much pressure either. So that's what I did. And again, this is going to be lined up by this, so don't see how it right now kind of binds and moves around. This is actually acts as your guide for this. So yeah, don't worry about that, but that's what you want to do. And again, make sure, see if we can get it here, make sure this is facing the back, because on the back side of this, it's hard to see it because it's black. There's a hole right here with a supplied screw or supplied bolt that they give you. So you'll slide that on then. So once you get that set, the spring's in. We've got the set screw. You're going to take this and just slip it back here. Boom, like that. Now, right now, it's nothing holding, so I can pull it off, but you can put it through the gears. Look. just like factory. The only thing, it doesn't have overdrive now, but that looks 10 times better. So now what you're going to do next is take this bolt here, put it on the back side of it, and tighten it down. This takes a size number 4 to tighten down, and that's it. Then you just reassemble. The other thing I need to show you guys yet is the wiring part of it, which is super simple, but that at least gets that done. So let me finish at least putting that back together, then we'll move on to the wiring side. So I don't have the car running right now, but this is back together now. Again, you just put that set screw on the back side of it there that holds it in. The only thing that literally does is keep it from popping out, like you pulling this off. It would still work even if that backed out. You could still actually actuate this, get this in the gear. Just want you guys to know that. But now, push down. It just goes through all the gears. Awesome. Like, I mean, just like factory, except all you gotta do is press down there, no button or anything. That looks 10 times nicer and cleaner. I like that it's black. I like that they don't have this machined off now. Again, I like the Powerhouse Racing logo, but I like that it's completely black. Now from here, let's do the wiring side of it. Need to push that sleeving back down a little bit. And I'm gonna have to take this dash panel out to get to this. I have a 2-wire Deutsch connector already here, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna extend it to the Deutsch connector and use this for my overdrive, and then I'm gonna hook up this to my manual. Again, that doesn't matter, but this is now gonna be my overdrive. Okay guys, so again, here's the 2 white wires. Now again, they're identical. What I did is I crimped on 2 Deutsch connectors here. Now, if you're using their kit, they have spade connectors. You can just crimp those on. I'm using a Deutsch connector and then connecting it to this on-off switch I already have in the car, which already has a female side to it. I'm gonna put the plug on here next, and then I'm going to test it. Again, it's going to work just like theirs, except mine's not here, and I'm not using their spade connectors or their button. I have one that was already in the car, so that's the only reason I'm doing this. As you can see, I have plenty of slack, so I didn't even have to add wires, so I can run this up under, and it'll plug right into that. And then we'll test to make sure it shows up there, so when I put it into drive, you can't test it from park. You need to, if you're sitting still and the car's not running, you need to put it down into drive. The car can just be in the on position, and then hit the button on and off. It should, on the dash, if that's still all wired in properly, it should show you overdrive on, overdrive off. That's it, simple as that. So let's try this. All right guys, and again, so you're going to turn the car to the on position. Again, my car's not running. Just make sure you put it down and into drive here. On my dash right now, it says nothing because I haven't hit this button. So I'm going to click the button on here so you guys can see it. Click it on. Overdrive's off. You guys will be able to hear it here. Listen. Now it's on. Now it's off. On again. Off again. I must have got the polarity right. I don't know if it matters. I don't think usually when it's the same color wire, polarity doesn't matter. So whether way you pin it, it shouldn't matter. It's usually how it works. So there we go. I've got that set up. Now I just got to do the manual button, put it back into my Haltech. But again, that's not important for you guys today. Again, that wire was plenty. Didn't have to cut into this. Didn't have to remove any of this. And now my shifter works perfectly. That looks a lot cleaner. The leather was worn out in the other one. I think this personally looks a lot better. I don't know what you guys think, but thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to put the center console back in, and that's it. Hold on, let me see. Is there anything else? Screws are in. Yep, it was just that simple. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later. Peace.